ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम्
शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमा
अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां
अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां
पर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्
गुरुपरम्पराम्
सहनावतु सहनौ
सहनावतु
सहनावतु
सहनौ
सहनौ
भुनक्तु
वीर्यं
सह
भुनक्तु
वीर्यं
करवावहै
करवावहै
वीर्यं करवावहै
तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा
तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा
विद्विषावहै
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 शान्ति शान्ति
ॐ
शान्तिः
शान्तिः।
ॐ तत्सत् ॐ नमः शिवाय गुड मॉर्निंग
ॐ तत्सत् ॐ नमः शिवाय।
So we were on 32nd
32.
verse. So we will chant. Shri Bhagavanuvacha
श्रीभगवानुवाच
श्रीभगवानुवाच
Yatha sarvagatam sauksmyad
यथा
सर्वगतं
सर्वगतं
सौक्ष्म्यात्
सौक्ष्म्याद्
akasham nopalipyate
आकाशं
आकाशं
नोपलिप्यते
नोपलिप्यते
sarvatravasthito dehe
सर्वत्रावस्थितो
सर्वत्रावस्थितो
देहे
देहे
तथात्मानोपलिप्यते
तथात्मानोपलिप्यते
तथात्मानोपलिप्यते।
So yatha sarvagatam saukshmyat. Right. Yatha sarvagatam akasham saukshmyat na lipyate. Yatha sarvagatam akasham, just as the all-pervading space, saukshmyat, due to being very, very subtle, na lipyate, is not affected. Similarly, tatha, similarly, atma, that atma, sarvatra dehe avasthitaha, which is all-pervading, present in all bodies. So, sarvatra dehe avasthitaha is all-pervading. Na upalipyate is also not affected. Right? So, these are two examples given in the Shastram when we talk about Atma. Usually, they talk about Akasha and Prakasha, space and light, because they have got very several common features. So here he is giving the example of space, Akasha. And Akasha and Atma have got common features. What are they? Ekaha, Ekatvam. Atma Ekaha, Akasha Ekaha. Both Atma and Akasha only one. Sarva Vyapakatvam, Sarva Vyapi. Atma is Sarva Vyapi, all pervading. Akasha is Sarva Vyapi, all pervading. Achalaha. Now this is a corollary from Sarvavyapi. If something is all pervading, obviously it cannot move. So since space pervades everywhere, space is all pervading, you will find that space cannot move. Similarly, Atma is all pervading. Therefore, Atma cannot move. My body can move, but to think that I can move, that is a mistake. Because I am not the body, I am the all pervading Atma. So remember that when you say I move, it is a functional way of talking. It is a gauna prayoga of the word I, relative prayoga, meaning the body mind complex. The body can move, but I cannot move. That is the third similar feature. Then nirvikaraha, without change. Akasha does not get older or younger. The Akasha, which was born with the world, has not developed any changes due to getting old. Right? So Akasha is nirvikara, not subject to change. Atma is also nirvikara, not subject to change. The fifth common feature is khandata, khandatvam, that which cannot be divided. Khandaha means part or divisible. Akhandaha means not divisible. So Akasha cannot be divided. You cannot cut Akasha with a knife or blow it up with a bomb. Similarly, Atma cannot be divided or blown up. It is partless. Right. The sixth is both are asangaha. The space does not smell if there is a foul smelling thing present in space. You may say the space smells, but actually what smells?
Media.
Sorry?
Medium present there.
The air.
The air
Air,
smells,
Anatma.
right? It is the air which smells, not space. Air is not asangaha. Similarly, Atma is asangaha. So Akasha, Atma are both asangaha. They do not get contaminated. Then Akasha is the substratum, sarva adhara, substratum of the whole universe, because the whole universe is located in Akasha. Therefore, Akasha is Vishwa Adhara, the substratum of the entire universe. Similarly, Atma is also Vishwa Adharam. Not only that, Atma is Akasha Adharam also. It supports Atma or Akasha also. Those are the seventh similarity. The eighth one is Sukshma. Akasha, it's not possible to comprehend very easily because it is, you cannot see it, you cannot hear it, you cannot touch it. But somehow you can conceive of space. Similarly, Atma also. You can conceive of Atma, though you cannot see, touch, or hear, or taste. And therefore, Krishna gives the example of Akasha in this particular verse, in the particular sloka. He says, Sarvagatam Akasham na upalipyate. All pervading Akasha na upalipyate is not touched, is not contaminated by anything because of what? Saukshmyat, because of being extremely subtle. In the same way, Sarvagatam Atma na upalipyate is not tainted or polluted by anything. Even though Sarvatra Dehe Avastitaha and Atma is associated with all bodies. Criminal body, saint's body, animal body, insect body, tree body, cockroach body, scorpion body. But the Akasha, the Atma, it is not tainted at all. Remember that the mind, which is Anatma, may have, will have Raga, Dvesha, Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Matsarya. But those attributes belong to the Anatma, the mind, and they don't touch the Atma at all. So, another important rule, whatever is the state of the Upadhi, the Atma is never touched. Whatever is the state of your mind, that doesn't belong to you. Right? If you are crying buckets, who is crying? The RC, the mind is crying. All you have to do is you understand that you are the Atma. And therefore, to understand they are the Atma, what is required? Only the study. You don't require to quieten the mind. You don't require to do very complicated yogic kriyas. You don't require holding your breath till your face turns blue. Nothing is required. Quietening the mind, yogic kriyas, Shirshasanam, Parvatasanam, all these things belong to who? To the Anatma. All you have to do and understand is that through, in and through all these activities, in and through my trying to quiet the mind, in and through my doing Shirshasana, in and through my holding my breath, doing pranayama, I am always present. I, the Atma, the changeless, nirvikara Atma, asangaha, untouched Atma, I am always present. This is all that is needed to be understood. To become a jnani, this is the understanding. Whatever happens, I, the changeless presence, am always there. Okay. Now we look at the verse number 33. We will chant. यथा प्रकाशयत्येकः
यथा प्रकाशयत्येकः
कृत्स्नं लोकम् इमं रविः
कृत्स्नं
कृत्स्नं
लोकमिमं
लोकमिमं
रविः
kshetram kshetri tatha kritsnam
क्षेत्रं
क्षेत्रं
क्षेत्री तथा
क्षेत्री तथा
कृत्स्नं
कृत्स्नं
prakashayati bharata.
प्रकाशयति
प्रकाशयति
भारत
भारत
Krishna gives one more example. Yatha ekaha ravihi prakashayati. Just as the one Ravi, the one sun, prakashayati, reveals or lights up. Imam kritsnam, this entire world, kritsnam is entire. Imam is this. Imam kritsnam lokam, this entire world. Tatha, in the same way, Shetri, the Shetri, Prakashayati reveals Kritsnam Shetram, the entire Shetram. Hey Bharata, hey Arjuna. So, in the last sloka, Krishna took the example of Akasha. Now he takes the example of Prakasha. That Prakasha is sunlight, the formless light which pervades the whole earth. Okay. And he says this Atma is comparable to that sunlight. And here also, from the previous sloka, you have to recall sunlight is one, sunlight is sarvagataha, pervades the whole earth. Sunlight is achalaha, does not move because it is everywhere. Sunlight is nirvikaraha, the light does not undergo any change at all. Asangaha, light does not get polluted even if it falls on the Ganga or it falls on the dirtiest gutter. Akhandaha, light cannot be cut. So you have to remember Achedya, Adhyaha, Akledya, Shoshiha, all that from Bhagavad Gita. And Sarva Prakasha. Sarva Prakashakam. Light illumines everything. And like that light, Atma also illumines what? Imam Kritsnam Lokam Prakashayati. The entire Kshetram, Atma illumines. And lastly, light is very subtle. Sukshmaha. You cannot touch, you cannot taste, you cannot smell, you cannot hear. In fact, you cannot even see the light unless there is reflecting media. Just like that, yatha ekaha ravi prakashayati. Just as that one sun reveals the whole earth, in the same way, the Shetri, imam kritsnam Shetram prakashayati. This entire Shetram, this Shetri reveals. You have to connect this to verse number 5 and 6. Why? Because Shetram was defined there. So the idea conveyed is just that just like the sun, Atma is also only one, even though what it reveals is very, very many. Now we come to the last sloka of this chapter. We will chant. Kshetra Kshetrajñorevam
क्षेत्र क्षेत्र
क्षेत्रक्षेत्रज्ञोरेवम्
Antaram Jnana Chakshushaः
अनन्तरं
ज्ञानचक्षुषाः
ज्ञानचक्षुषा
Bhuta Prakriti Moksham Cha
भूतप्रकृतिमोक्षं
भूतप्रकृतिमोक्षं
च
मोक्षं च
Ye Viduryanti Te Param.
ये
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 विदुर्यान्ति ते
विदुर्यान्ति
विदुर्यान्ति
परम्
परम्
इति श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासु उपनिषत्सु
इति
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 श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासु
श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासु
उपनिषत्सु
उपनिषत्सु
ब्रह्मविद्यायां योगशास्त्रे
ब्रह्मविद्यायां
ब्रह्मविद्यायां
ज्ञानं
योगशास्त्रे
योगशास्त्रे
श्रीकृष्णार्जुनसंवादे
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 वादे
क्षेत्रक्षेत्रज्ञविभागयोगो
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 नामत्रयोदशोऽध्यायः
नाम
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 त्रयोदशोऽध्यायः
त्रयोदशोऽध्यायः
षोडशोऽध्यायः
हरि ओम्
तो ते ये विदुः the last line te ye viduhu, those people who know jnana chakshusha. How do they know? Through the eyes of jnanam conveyed through shastram. What do they know? Evam antaram. So all that breakup is there. Kshetra, kshetrajnyoho, evam antaram, jnana chakshushaha. Te viduhu. All that you have to break up carefully. So te viduhu, those who know, jnana chakshusha, eyes of wisdom, evam antaram. This distinction between what? Kshetra, kshetrajnyoho, kshetrajnyoho. Between the kshetram and the kshetrajna. So you should have studied the Shastram, and the Shastram should have told you what is the distinction between kshetram and kshetrajna. That is one thing you should know. The other thing you should know is Bhuta Prakriti Moksham. What is the, you should understand how you can be free from Prakriti, right? And Moksham here means Mithyatvam. So you should know that Prakriti is Mithya. And in that way, once understanding that Prakriti is Mithya, then only can you be free from Prakriti. What happens if you have this understanding? Two understandings, the distinction between Kshetram and Kshetrajna, and the idea that Kshetram, which is Prakriti, is Mithya. These two things you should know. Yanti Param. You will attain the supreme state. So Kshetrajnyoho Antaram Evam Viduhu. These wise people, they recognize the difference between Purusha and Prakriti, Kshetra and Kshetrajnaha. How? Jnana Chakshushaha. What is Jnana Chakshushaha? Shankara very carefully describes it, defines it. Shastra Acharya Prasada Upadesha Janitam. That knowledge, Upadesha Janitam, that knowledge, that jnanam, which has been janitam, which has been born because Upadesha, it was taught by Acharya. And what did Acharya teach? Shastra. He taught the Shastra. Shastra Acharya Prasadaha. The knowledge which has been taught by the Acharya, that knowledge has been won my mind. And what is that knowledge about? He says Atma Jnanam, regarding the Atma only. So Acharya can teach you very many things. Acharya can teach you things about Anatma also, right? A lot of Anatma discussions are there. But that knowledge which is regarding the Atma, which has been given to me by the Acharya, who is teaching Shastra, that knowledge, from that knowledge only, I can recognize the difference between Kshetram and Kshetrajna, which in our language means the knowledge generated by Vedantic Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam. That is called Jnana Chakshusha Jnanam. And Bhuta Prakriti Moksham Cha. So here, Moksham, Shankara very carefully defines as abhava, non-existence. He actually says abhava gamanam, but for simplicity's sake, you can take it as abhava. So Bhuta Prakriti Abhavaha, which means literally means a non-existence of Prakriti. In other words, that Prakriti is mithya. Therefore, to understand the Shastra, you should have two levels of understanding. One is what is the difference between consciousness and matter? And the second thing is that matter is really not there at all. It is mithya. It is nothing but consciousness in name and form, which ultimately means there is nothing but Brahman alone. And if you understand this, Shankara says, they alone attain freedom, which is called Jivan Mukti. And he adds, they do not take up any more bodies. Na punaha deham adadate. They do not have any more bodies. Which means first they get Jivan Mukti, then they get Videha Mukti. So with this, we have completed chapter number 13. Any questions? Chapter 14 we won't take up today. I don't want to mix up two chapters. So since we have, first of all, any questions? If you don't, then if you want to, I can give you a very quick summary of chapter 13 because we have some time.
Yes, please.
So first the questions, if any. Okay. So no questions. All right. Let's quickly go get this chapter 13 summary. So this is the beginning of the third Shatakam. The Gita is divided into three Shatakams, 1 to 6, 7 to 12, 13 to 18 chapters. Shatakam means six, group of six. And in this third Shatakam, the 13th, 14th, and 15th chapter basically are a summary of all the Upanishads. All the knowledge contained in all the Upanishads will be found in these three chapters, 13th, 14th, and 15th. This chapter, therefore, begins with a question from Arjuna. And as I said before, while talking about the first verse itself, that this verse, the 13th verse, first verse is not numbered. So we number sometimes we say 13.00, but usually you will find that verse is not numbered. Some versions will have the number, some versions will not have the number. Many texts present it without a number. Okay. So this is the one verse which decides whether the Gita has 700 verses or 701 verses. So Arjuna asks for clarification about six topics: Prakriti, Purusham, Kshetram, Kshetrajnyaha, Jnanam, and Gneyam. Now we saw that these six topics can be reduced to three topics. Why? Because Kshetrajna is Purushaha, is equal to Gneya, what's been known, is equal to Atma. Right? So Kshetrajna is Atma. Similarly, Kshetrajnam is Prakriti and Anatma. Right? Therefore, there are three topics. The first, Kshetrajna, Purusha, and Gneyam. That is the first, second, and last. Are classified under Atma. Then Kshetra and Prakriti are classified under Anatma. What is left is Jnana. Therefore, there are basically only three topics: Atma, Anatma, and Jnanam about the two. In the first, verse number 2 to verse number 24, Krishna talks about Anatma. That is to say, Prakriti or Kshetra. And he says that whatever you experience is Anatma. All that is seen is Anatma. And therefore, the entire universe is an object of experience. And therefore, whatever is an object of experience, you have to classify under Anatma. By the definition, even Swarga is Anatma. Therefore, the correct definition of Anatma is that whatever is experienceable is Anatma. And going by that logic, my body, I know, I experience. My mind, I know, I experience. I know I have an intellect, I experience. That all these three are Anatma. Therefore, universe plus body plus mind plus intellect, the entire chunk falls under Anatma. What is the nature of Anatma? Number one, Jadam. Material in nature, inert. Your body appears to be sentient, but remember the sentiency of the body is not intrinsic to the body. Body is intrinsically insentient. And similarly, mind intrinsically insentient appears to be sentient because it is blessed by Atma. Then second point is Anatma is full of gunas, sagunaha, full of attributes. Third point is Anatma is full of vikaras, subject to constant modifications. And because of its constantly changing nature, this Anatma is subject to two states. Karya avastha, that is the manifest condition, that is the product. Karya avastha is a product, manifest condition, which is Vyakta avastha, and Karana avastha, which is Avyakta avastha, unmanifest condition. Right? And we give the example of water and steam. Water is visible. In vapor form, it is not. So this Karya avastha is called Jagat, the world, universe. the product. And Karanavastha is called what? What is the
Un-
Karanavastha?
Unmanifested Abhyakta Avastha.
It's called what's known as
Maya.
Maya. So Karanavastha is Maya, Karyavastha is Jagat. That you will remember, that is the nature of matter. Then Atma. So Atma, we talked about, we classified three things: Kshetrajna, Purushaha, Nyeyaha. What is the idea here? The experienced universe means there is an experiencer. Experiencer is Atma. Atma, therefore, is not the subject of an experience. It is the not the object of an experience. It is the subject of all the experiences and can never be thought of as an object. And therefore, this experiencing principle has necessarily to be conscious. So it is Chetanam. What is the nature of the Atma? We have seen many times. Not part of body, not part of body, not property of body, independent entity, pervading and enlivening the body, the inert body, not limited by the boundaries of body, all pervading, continues to exist even after the manifesting medium perishes, the body perishes. The last one, if the body medium perishes, I continue to survive. I, the Atma, continue to survive, but I am no longer able to transact because the medium of transaction, which is the body, is not available. So this is not only post-death, it is also during Sushupti Avastha, when body and mind are both not available. And we saw two examples, Atma comparable to Akasha, Atma comparable to Prakashaha. Both are Ekam, both are Achalam, cannot move, both are Akhandaha, not divisible, both are Asangam, never contaminated, both are Sarva Adharam, support of everything, both are Sarva Prakashaha, illumining everything. This is the Atma Anatma Viveka. Okay. Then we talked about Jnanam. Do you remember what Jnanam was in this chapter?
Sadgunas.
Sadguna.
Sadgunas. Okay, so that you have to remember very carefully. Jnanam, Atma, Anatma, Viveka Jnanam is one thing. And simply Jnanam in this chapter simply meant Sadgunas. All the qualities required for gaining Atma Jnanam. And this is how ethics and morality are embedded in Vedanta Shastra. And only a mind which has got these values, which is endowed with these values, can receive the Atma Jnanam. So there are 20 values which are presented. Remember that the Jnanam which Shastra gives by itself, without these values, the Jnanam is information only. Therefore, you will have plenty of teachers, plenty of college professors who can talk about every aspect of Shastra, but their lives have not been touched by the Shastra. They have achieved no transformation because the values are not there. And therefore, if you want transformation in your life, you have to have the jnana plus the values. Therefore, study accompanied by values gives you moksha, transformation. Study without values gives you information only. And these values, these 20 values which Krishna presented, we can present as four values. Sadhana Chatushta Sampatti. Discrimination, dispassion, desire, and discipline. Right? This we have seen before. And these values alone, Krishna presents in 20 different values. Then in the last 11 verses, Krishna talks about Jnana Sadhana and Jnana Phala. And very briefly, what are the stages of Jnana Sadhana? Karma Yoga, Upasana Yoga. So Karma Yoga is to remove the malam from the mind. Upasana Yoga is to remove vikshepa from the mind. Shravanam, consistent, systematic study of Vedantic scriptures for a sufficient length of time under the guidance of a competent Acharya. Each word is very important. Consistent, systematic study of Vedantic scriptures for a sufficient length of time under the guidance of a competent Acharya, that is Shravanam. Then Maranam. After Shravanam, doubts can be raised, doubts are be addressed for the purpose of removing those doubts. Therefore, Maranam is for Samshaya Nivrittihi, Shravanam is for Ajnana Nivrittihi. After Ajnana Nivrittihi, only Jnanam is there, but that Jnanam is accompanied by doubts. So, Maranam is for Samshaya Nivrittihi. Once you have Samshaya Rahita Jnanam, you will still have some problems because of habitual thinking patterns, vasanas. Therefore, Nididhyasanam is soaking in the teaching, soaking that perspective that Aham Brahmasmi. You have to change the habitual thinking pattern that I am finite to the habitual thinking pattern of I am Brahman. Therefore, Nididhyasanam is a shift of vision about my own self. When I do that, I will also change the idea I have about the world. So we can think of it as deconditioning ourselves from the toxicity of samsara. Then jnana phalam. Jnana phalam is sarvatra samadarsanam. Seeing Brahman everywhere, knowing that you are immortal, knowing that I am neither the doer nor the enjoyer, knowing that I am Brahman. And this is called Jivan Mukti. Very brief summary. Of course, it's not adequate because you've done a lot of classes. If you need more, I would suggest that you go back and revise. Any questions? Okay. So now we'll stop for the day. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnam Eva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat. Om Namah Shivaya. Thank you for your patience.
Thank you, Acharya ji.
Thank you, Acharya ji.